For every argument that Mr. Gilbert makes in support of Issue 3, you must pause and ask yourself, but is giving away the state constitution of Ohio to casino operators the best way to accomplish this? I agree that we need to stop money from leaving Ohio's borders, but we should not agree to use the state's constitution to redirect most of that money into the pockets of casino operators. They are entitled to their fair share, but then again, so are the 11+ million Ohioans whose constitution is being used to generate this mountain of cash. I also agree that we need to stimulate job creation in our state. However, we can and must do it in a way that doesn't sell our constitution for peanuts. We can do it in a way that provides the highest and best benefit to our state. It may not be easy, but it can be done. Ladies and gentlemen, good public policy can be difficult in an ideal economic environment. Good public policy in a failing economy replete with budget deficits and high unemployment can seem next to impossible. It is easy to become overwhelmed with a sense of desperation. Yet we, as the great state of Ohio, can never allow ourselves to become so desperate that we allow our state constitution, the document meant to protect the interests of over 11 million Ohioans, be used as a source of fast and easy cash for casino operators. Even in the worst of times, the protection of the public interest should never be for sale. I would ask that you don't sell Ohio short. I respectfully ask that you see past the rhetoric, past the promises, and do what's best for Ohio by voting no on Issue 3.
Thank you, Mayor. You'll have the remainder of your time after Mr. Gilbert speaks. Dan Gilbert?
Well, I haven't been in a debate since 6th grade, and I kind of wish Jeff Jacob was next to me instead of you, but, you know, kind of, you're a lot more likable, that's for sure. So, first of all, just to make it clear, the opponents, just so everybody understands this, the group that calls themselves Truth PAC is being funded primarily by the West Virginia casino owner and operator, MTR Gaming, that runs a casino just 50 miles from Mayor Williams' hometown that gets about 70 to 75% of its business from Ohio citizens, where Ohio citizens receive zero economic impact, zero jobs, and zero tax benefit. Just a couple, I'm gonna hit a couple of the points that Mayor Williams raised here. Is there anything more democratic than having the entire state of Ohio vote on this? Or is it more democratic to have the legislature handpick, let's say, seven racetracks or something to put video games into existing racetracks? I mean, the Ohio voters have turned down casino gaming, rightfully so, based on the proposals 4 times in the last X amount of years. And just like when you go down the grocery market and you look at an apple that maybe pick up an apple, it's bad, pick up another apple, it's bad, pick up another apple, it's bad. That doesn't mean you don't like apples. It means those apples were bad and those proposals were bad and Ohio should have turned them down. Let me tell you about our proposal just for a moment. Our proposal will create over 34,000 jobs according to the University of Cincinnati, 19,000 construction jobs and 15,000 permanent direct and indirect jobs. It will also create 4 world-class large buildings in 4 of the biggest cities, or the 4 biggest cities in all of Ohio. Not in some rural area. If you're going to do casinos and you're going to do gaming, you've got to do it right. I mean, the difference can be an inch or it could be a mile, but the point is if you don't do it right, then it may not turn out the best for whatever state or whatever municipality or whatever entity is going ahead and implementing it. We thought long and hard about this, and we made sure that if we're going to get involved with anything like a casino gaming operation, it's going to be in the downtowns, urban cores, so it can revitalize those urban cores, so it can create jobs, not only jobs in the casino, but be open and be built with the city and be built with the business folks and be built with all people who have an interest, whether it's a theater group here in Cleveland, whoever it may be. As soon as November 4th comes and we win this thing, we're all going to sit down and we're going to say, how are we going to do this, and let's do it right. Right now, as you probably have heard, and I'm sure you've heard the commercials, okay? Right now, West Virginia, Indiana, Michigan, Pittsburgh of all places, I know how you guys feel about that town here, are all getting thousands and thousands of Ohioans weekly coming into their state, crossing our borders, and going ahead and gambling. It's going to happen anyway. Right now, Ohio has an approved lottery, Keno, horse racing, church bingo. It has gaming. The question is this the right proposal? What we did is we went and interviewed 3,000 Ohioans in January when we got interested in this, and we said, what is it that you want to see? Why do Ohioans, by 60 to 65%, every time you poll them for the last 10 or 15 years, why do they say we're open to gaming, yet they reject these proposals. Well, just like Bill Clinton said in 1992, it's the economy stupid. Here, it's the proposal stupid, okay? And I'm calling you guys stupid. I'm saying that's just the metaphor for what I'm talking about here. I mean, basically, what you have here is a proposal that's written by the feedback we received from Ohioans, and they made it very clear. They made it very clear to us. They said they wanted a certain amount of casinos. They didn't want too many. They didn't want 12 or 15 or 23 like they've got in the state of Michigan, and they didn't want one in Dayton, Ohio, in a cornfield where people pull up, get out, go into the casino, and leave. So they voted it down. They wanted full gaming. They didn't want just slot machines. They wanted full gaming with tables. They also wanted all the tax money to be local, just like this proposal does. This proposal keeps the tax money local for local schools, local counties. $651 million a year is projected, okay? They also wanted to know the location in advance. People wanted to know, if you're going to put a casino, where is it going to be? The only way to do that through constitutional amendment and a free vote of all 11.5 million citizens of age in Ohio is to say, okay, here it is, and you put the legal description inside the amendment, which they all vote on. I mean, I trust the voters of Ohio. They turned down the proposals in the past. They turned down them for the right reasons. So we went ahead and wrote it that way. They wanted a high and fair tax rate, high but fair. Let me give you some tax rates, just to make sure we all understand the tax rates here. Nevada, 7.75%. New Jersey, 10.5%. Michigan, who will be competing against, 19% with full gaming. Missouri, 21%. Indiana averages 25%. Pennsylvania is 55%, but Pennsylvania slots only, where there's not a lot of jobs created and not a lot of cost behind it. So therefore, we went ahead and said 33%, higher than most states that exist. Right now in the Pennsylvania legislature, 12 to 21% is proposed for table gaming as a tax. The other thing, this licensing fee, we asked the Ohio voters point blank, would you rather have a high licensing fee, go to the state general fund and get lost, or would you rather require the developers to put $1 billion plus into the ground, new infrastructure to create jobs and buildings in their urban cores? 9 to 1. You don't ever see this in polling, 9 to 1. They came back and said, keep the licensing fee low, keep the requirement of infrastructure high. And so that's what we did. We went ahead and required $1 billion. The one right here in Cleveland will be $500 million plus, 5 to 600 million. Projected to bring 8 million visitors to downtown. The Browns, the Indians, the Cavaliers, Lake Erie Monsters, when you add them all together, 4 million visitors to downtown Cleveland. This casino in downtown Cleveland is projected to bring 8 million more visitors. Can we afford it anymore? Do you trust your legislature to put a gaming proposal on the table that's going to work, that's going to happen, that's going to get done? They tried that a few months ago. Supreme Court said no, let the people vote. They didn't like that too much, the legislature and the governor. Now the people are going to vote on it, and the people are going to decide. And that's the most fair democratic way possible.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Mayor Williams, you have 1 minute, 15 seconds for a rebuttal.
Thank you. I agree in the democratic process. I'm not here to say that the citizens of Ohio shouldn't be voting on this piece of legislation. I'm saying, and that we're saying, that this piece of legislation shortchanges Ohio. I agree with Mr. Gilbert when he says if we're going to do casinos, let's do them right. Issue 3 does not do casinos right. When we talk about the jobs being created, the 34,000 job figure is a figure out of a study that the casino operators bought and paid for that does not take into the account the job losses that an independent study cites will occur. When you talk about revitalizing an urban core, we all want our urban cores revitalized. But what about the independent restaurants and bars that will be harmed because when people go into a casino, they get the all-encompassing experience? When you talk about the licensing fee, that licensing fee versus capital investment, the $1 billion capital investment is a benefit to the casino operators, not a benefit to, it's great to have a great casino in your community, but it primarily benefits something that they own versus a licensing fee, which will go to the communities. And when you talk about the tax rates, they're using a tax rate only for casinos that use table gambling. You have to use a casino tax rate that talks about a full-blown casino. That's where you get 67%, 50%, 55%. And we know about polls, the way you ask a question will oftentimes determine how the answer is given.
Thank you. Mr. Gilbert, you have 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Okay, first of all, no, the $1 billion plus, which will be $1.5 billion in investment, doesn't go to the owners, gets invested in the ground and the buildings, which is why we have all the unions supporting us. Because I've been at the union halls every night. I'm going to the union halls, and these folks are hardworking and need jobs and want jobs, and they want new construction. They want it in the urban core, and they want it downtown.